Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Church. I want to say hello to all of you in the in the auditorium, as well as I don't know the number of people on Zoom today. Can't see the screen, but welcome one and all, and welcome to those of you who might be watching us also over the next day or two on Zoom and Facebook. Today's talk is the wisdom of Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes was our founder here at the center. He charged Raymond Charles Barker to go to New York and start a religious science center back in the late 1940s, I believe. So I want to start out with a little reading. It says, imagine for a moment you're holding a tiny seed in your hand. It's small, it's unassuming, and it seems insignificant. But if you were to plant the seed in fertile soil and give it the right conditions, having light and water and nourishment, it has the potential to grow into a mighty oak tree. In many ways, our thoughts and our beliefs are just like these seeds. They may seem small, insignificant in a way to you, but when you plant them in the fertile soil of your own mind and nourish it, if you keep that positive idea going, positive energy and intention, they have the power to take root, to grow into something truly magnificent. So as we gather here today, let us remember the power of our thoughts and the potential they hold. Let us, as we say, aim really high, dream really big, and trust in the infinite possibilities that exist within us and around us. For with the right mindset, consciousness, and the right conditions, we too can grow into mighty oaks. We can create a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. None of us are limited, though we have a lot of limiting beliefs. What we do here always is we challenge those beliefs because there is a greater truth about everyone here. The sky's the limit. I always correct myself. There is no limit. You have power within you that will respond to your thoughts and to your deeply held beliefs. I have a quick story that could describe a lot of us, I think. Once there was a man who lived in a small village, and one day he decided out of the blue that he wanted to build a tower that could reach the very sky. And the villagers laughed at him and told him it was impossible. But the man didn't listen. He started gathering materials and working on his tower day and night. It took him a long time. And the villagers watched, and they watched in amazement as the tower grew higher and higher, month by month and year by year. Eventually, the man ran out of materials. He ran out of money. He couldn't finish this great tower, but he didn't give up. Instead, he climbed to the very top of the tower. It was very high. And he looked over the horizon and the meadows and the fields, feeling extremely proud of what he had accomplished. The villagers came to see him at the top of the tower and asked him why he had tried to build something so huge and so impossible. And the man replied, I may not have quite reached the sky, but I got higher and higher than I ever thought possible. And that's something to be proud of. This story highlights the importance of aiming high in our own lives and pursuing our dreams, even if we don't quite achieve them exactly as we planned. You'll achieve great things. We are here to achieve great things. Many of us still have small opinions of ourselves, and you hear me talk week by week. We know how that happened. We took on things in our life, but this teaching challenges us to catch a bigger dream, to have a greater vision. Journal, exercise, do a mastermind, or do a great visualization, and think of the things that delight you and the ways that you can express life. And you'll be amazed before you're halfway through that you'll reconnect with things that you thought were great and wonderful, perhaps when you were younger. And I encourage everybody to start, because I know a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people who they spend most of their time talking about what's missing and what's wrong with them and what's wrong with their partners and what's wrong with the economy, what's wrong with the government, what's wrong with everything. And you can do it that way. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you if you want to do it that way. But you have the capacity as inlets and outlets of this divine energy. By that I mean Spirit's in you and it responds to you. So you have the capability of thinking great things, of communing with great minds. And the more you do that, you will do what a past present friend of mine, David Walker, would say. You have the ability to open up avenues in mind to create just about anything. You tell yourself you can't and it's too late, but that's really not true. You can and it's not. So this power, this energy is within us. It can't be destroyed, but it can be ignored to the extent that we abandon the idea that we have it. And that's the story of the prodigal child. You were born into the kingdom, you're heir to everything, and then somehow or another, for some crazy reason, you leave that, and you feel like you're out in the weeds in the far country. But as soon as you wake up and you turn to it, in the biblical story, it's the Father. As you turn to the Father within, you're instantly restored. And it's that way for all of us. So we're born into this kingdom. We're heir to everything good. We have power that's beyond description. And as we commune with that power, and we start working with that power, which is basically the lessons of the science of mind, the first 4 chapters, as you begin to work with it and believe in it, there will be a quickening. You'll start to demonstrate changes. So this power can definitely be ignored. To the extent that we abandon love, we feel that it has abandoned us. But that's not really the way it works. We must continue to love and be loving. Denying love or this energy is our only problem, and embracing it is our only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history with anybody and anything, and we can begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. When you want to do a big thing, get the mental pattern, make it perfect in your mind, feel it, sense it, know just what it means, enlarge the thought, keep it to yourself, and then let it go into the creative process behind all things. And patiently wait, have positive expectancy, and pay attention to your inner voice. Listen. And when you have ideas and impressions, when things come to you out of the blue, listen, and then follow that guidance with positive expectancy. Don't talk to anybody about it. Never listen to negative talk. Please don't pay attention to all of that. And you will succeed where others fail because you stay with it. One of my English friends, who I've mentioned today, I believe in this talk, always says, stay the course. Stay the course. Well, what does that mean? Just keep the positive idea going on, and if you start to doubt yourself, go right back into your affirmative process and know that you have the thing. It's in you, operating through you. This is a divine idea, and release any need to doubt it or doubt yourself. We have within us this infinite, indescribable power. People have searched throughout the ages for this God elsewhere. They've gone on pilgrimages, they've gone on vision quests, they've gone off to see the various wizards. I used to do that when I was younger myself. Always looking elsewhere. So we have, though, within us. It's been described the best kept secret of the age. So we have, and as a child I used to pray to a God above, and many of you did, and religion that had a lot of dogma. in this teaching, we don't teach you that there's a God above. We don't teach you that you are a sinner. We don't teach you that you need to be saved. We teach you that you have within you this sacred power, and it is always responding to you. It is what it does. You have within you a power that's greater than anything you shall ever contact in the outer world, a power that will overcome every obstacle in our life and set us safe, satisfied, and at peace, healed if we want to be healed, and prosperous. All of this power is yours. It's in you. We call it all the power of the universe is within you. I invite you today to feel it, sense it. That's the first step of the affirmative process. Is first step of affirmative prayer is recognize and know that this power is here and it's within you now. And then act as though you are heir to this kingdom. Know that you are one with it. It was Jesus who said, "It's not me, it's the power within me, the Father within me that doeth the work." The very same power that he was suggesting is within you, and it's willing, it's able, and it has to act, but it can only act through you. The universe cannot give to you what it can't give through you. So I have to enlarge my consciousness. If I have a small idea of who I am and what I can receive, then I'm going to only be able to receive what I can accept. It's been said by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, the idea was develop bigger buckets. Louise would say, ask the question, what are you approaching the ocean of life with? What's the container? Oh, I only deserve a little bit of good. And then someone else will have, big containers, and they sense that, there's more to life for them. And with your imaginations, all of you on the call, some of you have got these ideas, every cell of your body is connected to this ocean of life, and you're an inlet and outlet of it. And you have developed a great capacity to receive. So if you really enter in this consciousness that I'm so supplied and so supported, it's unbelievable. You're going to be a person who's going to have a lot of, good coming to you, and you'll also be a person that's exchanging and giving. So no matter how much good anybody's receiving today on the call, and if you're, the challenge here is to, first of all, be grateful for whatever you have, and then know that you're supplied and supported, and then expect greater good tomorrow. Expect to meet new people and new friends, and expect to meet new and wonderful experiences. Make a decision. That's one of Raymond Charles Barker's books and lines. Make a decision that I want this, I have this, it's mine, it's good. Make a decision today, and then this week you'll start to reflect on this, and then you let yourself contemplate the biggest and best set of circumstances for yourself. Lately I've been talking about people creating a journal or a vision board. I've forgotten how important that is, because I used to do it myself. A lot of journaling about these ideas and vision boards and things like that, where you can see it and you can visualize it and you can write about it, contemplate it. All of this, is going to, you can raise your sights. I don't even know who once said, why would you be having your sights on a molehill when you could be lifting your sights up towards the stars? Because life is going to reflect wherever you're going to put your thoughts and your energy. So let yourself go wild with your dreams. And don't criticize yourself. Don't say, oh, I can't do that. Just let yourself go, because you have the power within you to bring you to incredible places. You might not get to make your build your tower to the very sky, as I started out saying in that little story, but you'll go higher than you ever dreamed possible. Some of you may be working on a vision board or process of some kind, or journal. Some of you have never done anything like that before, because it's important, because life responds to you, because you know that this vision that you were learning to enlarge, and when you do it and you feel it and sense it, here's the way the law works. It will act upon, what you believe, these bigger ideas, and it will start to take shape. Because we know this, because this is the way it works, you realize how important this work is. One thing about this teaching, we always used to say we do our work in mind. Okay, mind is a word that some people don't understand. So we do our work in what I call consciousness. And if you don't know what the word consciousness means, if you're new, your consciousness is your awareness. So, okay, I'm getting up in years now. We've been working with these concepts for many years. I had a set of beliefs when I was younger, like all of us, and some of them were an accumulation of things that I learned from my family, my religion, and all of this, and I had a lot of opinions of what's right and what's wrong, and that type of the stuff I had when I was younger, some of it was very positive, but a lot of it was not. So when we work with this teaching, we're always enlarging our consciousness. We've learned many lessons, and our consciousness is really the sum total of our awareness. So when we do our work in mind, we're talking about where we are right now, the totality of our thinking. The totality of my thinking, your thinking, is reflected in your day-to-day living. If you're really an upbeat person with a positive mentality and you're expecting the best and you're practicing this teaching and you're learning to see the good in every encounter, you don't let yourself get pulled down into the small stuff. You're not reacting to everything all the time. That would suggest you've probably done a lot of work on yourself. We do our work in mind. We do our work in consciousness. It's the same idea. So we have this awesome power that acts upon this consciousness. So what we're always doing is we're working on our consciousness. I've had friends, ministers, who said, well, this person's tripping themselves up in consciousness. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means they've got a lot of negative thinking or stinking thinking going on. And if you're believing a bunch of stuff that's negative, what do you suppose is going to happen? This is the way the law works. And then we have a tendency to blame the other people. See, the thing is, people are doing the best they can with what they know, what they understand always. So it's kind of a waste of time to be blaming people. The thing is, what the work that needs to be done is always done within. I could look at a person doing some really crazy stuff, and I really, because I do know now, this person's doing the best they can with the information, the consciousness they have. Louise taught that over and over again, and it's true. All of life is evolving. I'm evolving. I won't make the same dumb mistakes that I made when I was 25 or 30, I promise you. I may make some others, but I won't make... if you can learn is what I'm saying. You can grow, and thank God, and so all of us have expanded our consciousness, and that's a wonderful thing. So you've got this awesome power. It's in you, operating through you. It operates, reflects your thoughts, your beliefs, and the things you feel, and that's a revelation to many people. This spiritual power is in every single living person equally, no matter if they're a Muslim or they're Catholic or they're Jew or they're a New Thought person. It doesn't matter what religion, it doesn't matter what country, you have this power in you, operating through you, and it responds to you. And every single person on the planet is using it every second of their lives. The question is, are you using it constructively? Are you even aware that it's there? So we want to learn to use it positively and have positive expectancy. And as we do, we'll soon discover a dramatic side. We'll soon discover that we have this great power to work with, which gives us an opportunity to express our feelings. Spirituality, Ernest Holmes said, is a natural goodness. God is not a person, God is a presence personified in us. Spirituality is not a thing, it's the atmosphere of God's presence, goodness and truth. Our mind is a magnet, and we attract that which we identify in the self. And Holmes was getting at the law of mind. Whatever you're putting out will come back to you. In order to get the most out of life, we must learn consciously to change many of our habitual thought patterns. There is something within you that sings the song of eternity, he said. Try to calm down and try to meditate and listen to it. Learn to cultivate that, what we call the still small voice within you. Listen to it. Everybody's got this guidance. If you tune in, if you're off course, there's something within you, you know. It's your conscience, it comes to you. Spirit answers. If you say you don't know something, or you put it, I will say to myself, I know, and I know that I know. The answer comes. It may be that hour, it might be that minute, it could be the next morning when I wake up. But the Spirit is always there if you learn to listen to it. Holmes went on to say there's a power around you, within you, that knows and understands all things. Listen to it. Take the time to pause, reflect, and allow its guidance. This power works like the soil. It receives the seed of your thought and at once begins to operate upon it. It will receive whatever you give to it and will create for you and return back to you whatever you think into it. Too often our minds are burdened by guilt and shame and regrets because, many of us have made a lot of mistakes, and we've made a lot of judgments about ourselves and others, and we don't take the time to forgive ourselves, and we hold a lot of grievances and resentments and things like that. And I know many of you on the call have worked on this and have let go of it and forgiven yourself, but I also know there's many people on the call who, this is a new idea, It's important to release the past and forgive yourself most of all, because first you have to start loving yourself and forgiving yourself. Louise would add, we need to love, accept, and forgive ourselves. We need to love ourselves exactly as we are. And you might say, but my God, I've made so many mistakes, I've hurt so many people. And she would say, all the more the reason that you need to love, accept, approve of yourself, forgive yourself. Because only when you're doing that are you going to be authentic and being able to extend that love to others. When we're carrying all these burdens, we won't be able to demonstrate the magnificent life that we could be having. We're longing, most of us, for more. I know I am. Most of you are seeking greater expression. Most of us want to enlarge our consciousness and become the best people that we can and accomplish the things that we came here to do. We came here as a soul. We're here to express, and we're here to tap in and figure out, the things that we want to express. As I was doing my notes yesterday, I was thinking, I was reminded in 1990, a friend of mine who was dying. It was just such a miserable time. Somebody was very sick, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was reminded, I was going to just stay home and, as we say today, chill, and just because everything was too much. And my friend said, look, I'm going out tonight with you or without you. He said, this is not a dress rehearsal. See, with him, there was a certain poignancy to it because he knew he had something that was going to, he was not going to be around for long. And I've always remembered that message. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the good old days. And challenge yourself to be happy. Challenge yourself to see how good it is. Because if you do it the other way, and you keep on, you don't even mean to do it. It's automatic, like what's wrong and what's wrong with life, what's wrong with you. We'll talk about, the health that we're missing, and we'll talk about all the things that just upset us. And in religious science, we really want to do it the opposite way. Okay, so you're older, I'm older, your health isn't exactly what it was maybe 25 years ago. But the healthy way to do is to exclaim and proclaim the health that you have. And the money supply you have, don't complain that it's not enough, and bitch and moan and all that other stuff, because that doesn't engage prosperity. It does the opposite. Because what you're doing is you're saying, I don't have, and that kind of like is it's a scarcity consciousness, and it causes life to respond to you in a different way. So we're here to applaud and exclaim and learn how to be grateful for what is. We're here to say, I'm whole and I'm healthy, and there's a pattern of health and wealth and creativity in us. And the more you can say that and believe it in your heart and get passionate about it, it will show up. I know a lot of us are longing to change. We want to get past our past. We want to step out of these states of consciousness where, we feel miserable and, life is hard. And Stuart Wilde wrote a book which was entitled, Life Was Not Meant to Be a Struggle. It's a good book, and it's a good idea. Life was not meant to be a struggle, and yet a lot of the world is struggling, but that doesn't have to be true for you. Ernest Holmes also said, suffering is not God ordained. When we suffer, it's because of the ways we think, and the attachments we have to having things be a certain way. Bill Wilson said the same thing when he said misery is optional. So you sit there today and you're thinking, my God, I've been so miserable. And then you're hearing this crazy person, Greg, this minister, saying misery is what? Optional. Suffering is not God ordained. Well then, why would I voluntarily put myself into a place where I'm suffering and I'm miserable? You wouldn't do it intentionally, right? So it shows you that you're using the law of life in a way that's not working for you. Because if you change your thinking and you change your emotions and your beliefs, things will start to shift. You will start to demonstrate, and by that I mean manifest, a different reality, a happier reality. You have that power. So if you really begin to work with the teaching and understand, I have power, do your affirmations. I am one with the one. I have the power to heal, to create, to make better. I can release any and all things that are contrary to love, light, peace, power, and beauty. You have the power to release these things and replace any of these thoughts with ideas of truth. And as you do, and as you believe in what you're doing, you will be planting the seeds in mind, and those seeds will bear fruit if you just stay the course. So I know many of us are longing to grow, evolve, and there's lots of ways I can suggest. Every time you tune into one of our broadcasts, it's an opportunity to be reminded of the power that you have and the limitless potential that's there for creative expression. I created a list of affirmations and releases for you today that you might want to consider and help you let go of certain things. You don't have to do any of this, by the way. All I ever do is give suggestions. You don't need to come to religious science to do this work. You don't need to come to our teaching. You don't need to do anything. You have the power within you to change everything. All we do is keep reminding you of the power you have and how to use it. Here's an affirmation, a list of affirmations for you today. You might want to make your own. You could say, I forgive myself for any mistakes I have made, and I trust that I'm learning and growing from them. I release all feelings of guilt and shame, and I allow love and compassion to fill my heart now. The next is I let go of the past and I focus on the present moment, knowing that that is where my power lies. Fourth is I choose to be kind and compassionate and loving to myself, knowing that I'm worthy of forgiveness and love. And I will add, I release the need to criticize myself. The next is I trust the divine order of the universe and know that everything happens for my highest good and growth. And I used to say perfect place, perfect time, and all the time. Even when things were not going the way I wanted, I would say perfect place, perfect time, all the time. Another, I release all negative self-talk, any critical thinking, stinking thinking, and I replace it with positive affirmations and life-giving messages that lift me up and empower me. As soon as I go down that rabbit hole of ain't it awful and poor me and I'm a victim, I try to stop it right there and say, no, stop in the name of love, stop, stop, stop. And then I neutralize it and replace it with a far more empowering idea. The next affirmation, I'm grateful for the lessons that I have learned, or I'm grateful for what just happened, and I'm grateful for the person I am becoming as a result. I have a couple more. Releasing. I release all judgments I have of myself, what I've done and what I look like, and I release everything that's represents any kind of judgment of myself. And then I release judgments I have about other people, and I see now everyone through the eyes of love and compassion. I understand that I am a being of light and divine energy, and I see it in other people. I don't care what they've done. I understand that they are doing the best they can with what they got. So I'm releasing all judgments of myself and others, and I'm seeing everybody through the eyes of compassion. Next, I choose to live in the present moment, not in last week or what the arguments of last week, of the stories of who's done me wrong. I choose to live in the present moment, completely free from the weight of the past and open to the possibilities of the present and the future. And 10th, possibly the most important, I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of forgiveness. I'm worthy of healing, and I allow these blessings to flow into my life right now. And I have a couple more affirmations and releases that you might want to use if you're holding on to some type of negative towards another person, what I'll call unfinished business. So you can bring them to mind if there's anyone that you still have work to do in terms of your own consciousness. There's just a couple. I release all bitterness and resentment towards this person, and I send them love and blessings. And if here's another, if there's some person that's in your mind and your consciousness that you're having challenges with, and you might say, I choose to let go of all my anger and negativity towards this person. You can use their name. And I forgive them for their actions. I now realize that they were doing the best that they could with the consciousness and awareness that they had. Third is I release all feelings of hate and animosity towards whoever the person is. And I do this, and I choose to focus on love and compassion instead. 2 more. I let go of all grudges and resentments towards whoever this person is, and I wish them peace, happiness in their life. This reminds me of the 12-step programs. They always used to tell us to pray for the person that we have a resentment towards. This is very similar. I forgive this person's name, their name, for any harm they may have caused me, and I release any negative energy that I have been holding on to. So you might know forgiveness is not about condoning anybody's actions, behaviors. It's quite the opposite. But rather it's a way of releasing yourself from the burden of the negative emotions and move towards healing and peace. I next want to read a powerful passage from the Course in Miracles about forgiveness. This has always been one of my favorites. It starts out with a question. What could you want that forgiveness cannot offer you? I don't know if you've ever heard this one before. Do you want peace? Forgiveness offers it. Do you want happiness? A quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, and a sense of worth and beauty that transcends everything. that transcends the world? Do you want these things? Do you want care? Do you want safety? And do you want the warmth of sure protection always? Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that can never be hurt? Do you want a deep, abiding comfort? And do you want a rest so perfect that it can never be upset? I'm sure you do. And the answer here is all this forgiveness offers you. Happiness, a quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, a sense of worth and beauty that transcends everything, the world, care and safety, and the warmth of sure protection always, a quietness that cannot be disturbed. All of this forgiveness offers you and more. So that's kind of a powerful thing. Love and forgive. Extend love. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Do it instantly, as soon as possible. There's nothing smart about holding a grudge or resentment. Louise, who studied in our center here, this is where she took her classes, and she's the inspiration for many people on our call, studied here, and she was loving and encouraging her students always to build up their consciousness and find ways to love and forgive. Forgive yourself, she was saying, for any and all of the mistakes you have made while you've been growing. Never, never criticize yourself. Learn to extend love always. Keep practicing releasing the need to be critical and judgmental. Self-love and self-forgiveness are the keys to all positive changes. She said, when you practice loving yourself and forgiving others, you're freeing yourself from the burden of guilt and self-blame, allowing us to live in the present moment with joy and happiness. When our focus and our practice is on seeing the God or the good in people, in every encounter, we are raising our energy, we are raising our vibration, and we're becoming more and more compassionate and understanding. We are actually healing, and we're helping others as we do, because when you're healing your life, you're becoming different. And because you're becoming different, you unknowingly are helping other people all around you. You're creating healthier and more fulfilling relationships also. Forgiving others allows us to let go of our anger and our resentments, and it frees ourselves from a lot of negative emotions that are somewhat under the surface. Ultimately, forgiveness allows us to live a more peaceful and joyful life, unencumbered by the weight of the past. Ernest Holmes talked about how people carry around what he called were corpses. I used to say dead wood. If I have a history and I have a lot of animosity towards anybody, I'm being weighted down with that stuff. Dr. Holmes was saying there's power for good in the universe greater than you, and you can use this power. And so you want to let go of everything and anything, you know, any negative opinions, any negative self-talk, negative thoughts about others. So our founder powerfully said, I definitely know that every negative condition of the past is cleared away from my consciousness. I no longer think about it, see it, or believe in it, nor do I believe that it has any effect whatsoever in my experience. This was Barker now, Raymond Charles Barker. He said, yesterday is not, tomorrow is not, but today is. Today is with, and it exists with bright hope, and it's filled with a promise, and that promise is mine. Today I live. Each of us are living in an atmosphere of our own thinking. We are immersed in the atmosphere of our own thinking. Just think about it. You are living in an atmosphere of your own thinking. You might be thinking it's all about what's going on in New York and what's going on with the mayor and what's going on and whatever. But the fact is you're immersed in an atmosphere of your own thinking. One person can walk down the street and do the same route, and they're seeing flowers and they're seeing blue skies and the warmth of life, and they're just filled with joy. Another person can be walking down the same street and see everything, but they don't have any sense of anything, the beauty. They're just, the atmosphere of their thinking is dreary, and woe is me and ain't as awful. So each of us are living in an atmosphere of our own thinking. We're all immersed in an atmosphere of it, our own thinking, and this is going to decide what shall take place in your life. I often say, in truth, there is nothing outside of you. And you've heard us say many times, you are the author of your own experience because you're living in an atmosphere of your own thinking. The way we think and perceive the world around us is very unique to each of us. That's how you can have people with such different opinions, you know, doing the same things. It's entirely different. Somebody goes to work and they see their job as an opportunity to interact with others and to do work that's helpful, and they feel refreshed and they feel vitalized. They feel like they're doing something valuable, and they come home and it's been a day where, you know, like the man building the tower. Maybe it wasn't everything they wanted, but they did something, they feel good about themselves. Someone else can go to the same job and do the same routine and come home and just think, God, my God, I hate that job, can't stand the boss. And it's just the whole thing to them is miserable because everybody's living in an atmosphere of their own thinking. So we teach that you're the author of your own experience. That's a key principle in the science of mind and other spiritual traditions as well. It means that our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions create our reality and our experiences. So when we say we are immersed in the atmosphere of our own thinking, it means that we are the ones creating the thoughts. We are the ones that are creating our beliefs and perceptions that shape our reality. It's not about what the other person is thinking or doing, but rather how we choose to interpret everything and react to everything. See, we have the ability to choose how to do this. You know, I could see peace instead of this. I could see good instead of this. I could see that I'm supplied and supported instead of this. It's really how you are deciding to perceive your world. So it's never about what the other person is doing or thinking. It's really always about you. In a similar way, when we assign people their roles in our life, and we do it all the time, I might think this person's a scoundrel, this person is this person is that. So here I'm being very judgmental, right? This person is good, this person is bad. All of this is based on our own perceptions and judgments rather than on any inherent truth about the person or situation. Correctly seen people is everyone's an individualization of God, a spiritual being. So I gotta really think about my judgments, right? By recognizing this, we can take responsibility for our own thoughts and our assessments, our beliefs, our judgments, and we can shift towards more positive and empowering ones about our day-to-day living, about how we think about people. And this is a practice, you know, this is a spiritual practice that will lead to a much more fulfilling and joyful experience. If you want to level up and you want to have a much bigger life experience, if you want to have a little bit of transcendence, develop a mystical approach to life, then the challenge is to keep seeing the good. Edwina Gaines used to say the God or the good because she used those two words interchangeably. You know, develop a grateful heart. Wake up in the morning, be grateful for the day. Be grateful for your friends. Be grateful for the things that you're doing, the people you love. That's a shift in consciousness, and you're immersed in this life, and life responds to us. I've got a couple of my favorites here. You are the author of your own experience. I can't remember who first taught it to me. Well, whoever it was, it's a key principle in the science of mind and other teachings. And what it means is all of our thoughts and beliefs and perceptions shape our reality and our experience. So when we say we're all immersed in this atmosphere of our own thinking, it means that we are the ones creating everything. Our thoughts and our beliefs and perceptions, our reality. Again, it's not about what the other person is thinking. So once we understand it's never about the other person, we recognize that it's ours. You know, what's mine to do? I have to take the responsibility for my own thoughts and shift them towards more positive and empowering ones. Ernest Holmes, I believe, said, "You are surrounded by a dynamic force, a great surge of living power. You are immersed in and saturated with the vital essence of life. This presence that's within you permeates everything else. It binds it all together into one complete whole." If you're involved in the teaching, after a while, you're going to be hearing words and expressions like oneness, which would suggest there's one essence, one power in this room, and everybody in this room, everybody listening on this broadcast. There's this presence, power, and it's all the same presence and power. Whatever is in me is in everybody here. We're all connected. And since the only life you can ever have is the life of spirit, it's a life that we all share in. It's within you. And we only need to permit its radiance to flow through our thoughts into self-expression. Allow it. Invite it. You are surrounded by it. You are immersed in it. You can only attract that which you mentally become and feel to be in reality. That's an important statement. It's not enough to say I'm whole and complete and I'm supported. You can only attract and manifest in your life what you mentally become and feel. So we have to think about it. We have to, know that it's ours, and we need to feel what we're saying. So our treatments, our affirmations involve. You start out with treatment with a recognition that this energy, this power is, and you let it fill you up. And you begin to understand and let it move you, that there's one power, one energy, and that energy is in me now. That's the first and second step. And then you're going to make a declaration of a truth, that I'm whole and I'm complete, I'm supplied and I'm supported. And I really want to bring myself to a point where I can feel that. Because when you do, you do it passionately, you're going to cause something to happen. So you need to feel it, and that's an important idea. There's a law of seeing, which I want to talk about briefly. As we look at the world outside, we want to remember there's a light inside of us and a spirit that moves us. Sometimes we get lost. Sometimes we get off track. The light and the love are always still there. They're always inside of you, wooing you. It's not hidden, though it will seem like it is. As you begin to live with the understanding that you live, move, and have your being in this presence, you'll begin to see a world that's new and different, shining and innocent, alive with hope. If you're looking at everybody as their divine beings, if you're understanding that every encounter you're having is in fact, this is a divine being, this is a holy encounter, your whole life will start to shift. In spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, we remember and we recognize the truth. We understand that we are unified with this power, this energy, and that it responds to us. This love of God reveals things to us in the treatment and the affirmative prayer process. The world is full of meaning, and it pays to dwell there for a while in peace and love. The world is hard to access when we're so busy, thinking about the future and worrying or condemning what we have lost or what went wrong, and we're focused on retaliation or some type of, destruction or anything like that. Every week we talk about, especially on Thursdays, the inner dialogue we have and how important that inner dialogue is. I'll say it's the most important conversation that you'll ever be having is the one that you have with yourself all day long. When your inner conversation is on high, when you're hitching your wagon to the stars and you're seeing the best in yourself and everybody, you're going to feel joy. You'll be experiencing happiness. When you can what you can do to keep that conversation on a higher vibration. You might ask yourself, what can I do? What do you think you can do today to keep this conversation on high? For some of you, it will be meditation. For some of you, it will be journaling. For some of you, it will be affirmations and affirmative prayer. The thing to remember is you always have power, and as you lift your thoughts up and realize that you are immersed in this energy, you'll start to have moments of joy and happiness, and you just keep practicing it. Joy is everywhere, and you are one with it. We are always at choice, and we are not victims of anything other than our own belief. If you're unhappy or you're finding yourself down in the dumps, try working with some positive statements and affirmations. Get up, move around, start making some positive statements. You might say, I'm one with this one energy, this creative power. It's in me, operating through me, and I know all is well. I know everything is whole and complete. And as you start to say and believe these things, you'll start to feel better. You can ask yourself questions. What kind of life would you like to be experiencing? Your life is your masterpiece. It's your creation. What would you like to see? Can you allow yourself to imagine big and have a big vision? And you might say, I'm older, it's too late, and just say, no. I can have a big vision starting here, starting now. And life is going to say yes to those big visions. The choice is always given to us. Remember, you will look upon that which you feel within. If misery and hatred and a lot of negativity finds a place within your heart, then you're going to be experiencing a fearful life. If you feel love, joy within you, and you're committed to extending that to yourself and others, you're going to start to see a world that's full of mercy and love, and you'll see the good, and you'll sense the compassion, you'll extend it, you'll feel it, you'll receive it. You'll be realizing that everyone is evolving, and we're all in the right place at the right time, doing the best we can. As you know that you live in this wonderful energy, you will know it's good. Perfect life is evolving in you and through you and in every person and all the time. Trust and know that the universe is always conspiring for your good. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the dice of God are always loaded. There's a divine conspiracy. So everything is unfolding for your greater good and betterment. It would be great if we have the willingness to trade in these old, lesser ideas we have for the greater, and just saying, hey, I'm great, I'm good. I'm an inlet and outlet of God activity. I release the need to criticize myself. I release the need to criticize others. And then declare, I'm open, I'm receptive to learning. I'm open and receptive to doing things in a new way. I'm open and receptive to seeing myself as a great being, a spiritual being that's here to make a difference. So I think anything more would be just gilding the lily, as they say. These were some of Ernest Holmes' ideas, and I mixed in a few others. This would be a great time for us to, since you've all been spiritually reminded of the power you possess, and to know that you have the ability to create a fantastic life. So if you dream big and you keep staying the course.